Healing, wellness, innovation. What do you think when you hear those words? How do they make you feel? 19 local artists had many ideas of what those three words meant to them, and for some, it was personal.
Because in 2007, my husband David received a liver transplant.
I was a nurse for many, many years, and so I know how it is to have it be not a very nice place to be.
12 years ago, I had a stroke.
Sandy Trainer has been challenged with speech incapabilities for 12 years following her stroke in April of 2003. She anticipates having an experimental procedure done to close a hole in her heart, an innovative effort led by Geisinger.
Wellness, innovation, technology, that is a lot of the background of what Geisinger provides, the care, the wellness, and its top-notch quality, technology, as well as staff.
The ultimate goal in expressing those words through an artist collaboration would turn out to be an historic event for this community during a momentous occasion.
Well, there was an initial conversation between Otto Caressi and myself about what the arts and the artists in the area could do to contribute to the Geisinger Centennial.
Following the success of their previous mural project, the Susquehanna River artists were quick to get on board when Jim Wilson, Executive Director of the Danville Business Alliance, approached Executive Director of the Columbia Montreux Visitors Bureau, Otto Caressi, with an idea for another in October of 2014.
And then it was just a follow-up with, hey, the artists really enjoyed the time, how can we do this again?
It was perfect because it was our 100-year anniversary, so we thought what better to do a mural celebrating our 100-year celebration. And then we thought about what to do it on, and we decided on innovation, health, and wellness.
To commemorate Geisinger's 100th anniversary, a large wall mural was to be created and displayed in the Atrium Cafe of the Hospital for Advanced Medicine in Danville.
So we took that back to our group of artists, and then they had the option of utilizing one, two, or all three in their concept.
Once the idea was in place, they began the process of gathering the artists and their ideas and presenting them to Geisinger.
We liked the idea, we loved the theme, and so we looked at some early sketches and we said, hey, if somebody wants to offer their time, talent, energy to us, we need to say thank you first and then move on to helping support them do their project.
And so, it began.
Now, their artist statements, I only made 6-year concepts. If you then,
when we did it up there, we had the marks already on the wall, and then we put the cleats on.
Also, what is this material, and can we get some towel primer and react to the watercolor paper?
I don't think it would matter.
We can come there first, and then at that time.
I believe Dr. Steele did his sign-off in about September of 2014 and gave us the go-ahead to do it. And since that time, it's creating deadlines and time frames and just getting the whole project put together, finding the location that it was actually going to occur at.
It's been almost about a year in the making now, and obviously when you get a lot of individuals involved, the institution, the artists, the planning and meetings and back and forth, it does take a fair amount of time.
That's where we're standing. We're waiting for the sketches to be approved, and then the artists are going to move forward and start creating those pieces.
It's just wonderful that they've given us this opportunity. I mean, how many places do we have to exhibit? And you don't want to have subject matter that's very conflicting to what their standards are.
I reached out to, I think, 4 individuals, and I think all 4 of those responded. If I did not reach out to you, then I would say there's no issues with your design.
But they haven't actually said we're good to go on this piece yet.
My piece is an abstract representation of penicillin, which since I work in Geisinger a couple days a week, I asked some of my colleagues to show me some interesting looking bacteria, and I found penicillin, which I thought fit the theme really comprehensively. Wellness, healing, we all need penicillin when we've got infections, and innovation. In its time, it was an amazing innovation and saved lives.
My piece is about health and wellness, healthy mind, healthy body, healthy life.
I chose to follow the innovation theme, change, development, growth. It's going to feature a light bulb, and it's going to be one of the modern light bulbs that spirals, which in itself shows change and development right there from the old filament type bulb.
As the artists awaited the final approval of their sketches, they collaborated on the other aspects of the project, such as its dimensions and its location.
The first step was to find a location in the hospital that would be suitable for a mural that was going to be, fairly large sized.
Well, it's very complicated because you got a large wall space and you've got 19 artists trying to fit pieces into an area that makes sense. And finding the proper wall space that we wanted, we had several options until we decided on the one we were going to use.
Geisinger early on identified several locations where it could be, and we did a couple of site visits to Geisinger to rank the various sites. Then there were meetings with the facilities engineers at Geisinger.
We've got a great facility team. Actually, one of our folks takes care of the whole building and projects like this. And he came up with the idea of, in our Glenn Steele, recently named Hospital for Advanced Medicine. And we thought, why not put it where most of the traffic is? We thought about, can we find a place near the atrium, which is our cafeteria?
The Atrium Cafe, if you've ever been in there, it's very linear. Everything's very straight. And I know early on in the process, our artists were wrestling with the idea, do we want it to be more organic in shape with lots of circles and curves and everything? But we just found that probably the hanging aspect of it from the site that was ultimately decided upon, it would have been difficult to do.
The collage type layout that we're going to be doing with all the different shaped boxes and things was a bit of a problem, trying to figure out exactly the sizes and the spacing between each one, but we got it figured out so that we make it as easy as possible for the installation as well for the people that are going to be doing it.
Right coming down the steps, our atrium is on the lower level. We had a nice wall there, a good sized wall where we thought everybody going into the cafeteria, obviously a high traffic area, would see it, plus people sitting in the atrium would have visibility to it. So it was the perfect spot.
We then actually sat down, believe it or not, in a very non-digital way and actually physically measured things out to make sure that everything was going to be right in its place and sized correctly.
I think the atrium is a very good spot to put this in because lots of people will visit that spot. The couple of times I've been there for meetings, the place has been filled with people.
From the sketches I viewed today, it's going to be very colorful, so it will hopefully add a bit of cheerfulness to the Atrium Cafe and to the hospital overall.
I like it. I thought for where it's located, it would be perfect. People coming in to have coffee, or if they're, or go down to get something to eat, or wait for an appointment, then they go down the steps and they can see that, and they can sit and look at it and get up and look around. It's not hidden where you can't move around and take a look at it.
Art in public spaces is a really important thing, and the Atrium Galley is a beautiful space. Lots of windows, colorful, light and airy, and if I were in the hospital and I were taking care of somebody else who were in the hospital, I would really like to have a really pretty place to go and have pretty things to see.
With the beginning details out of the way, the preliminary sketches approved, it was time for the fun part, making art.
The one thing that I always enjoy about working on collaborative, projects is this. First of all, you get the whole quote gang together. You get everybody together, and then you can, start throwing around some ideas.
For this particular project, it became more of a collaboration, yet promoting the individualism of the artist.
I get a lot of ideas and inspiration from everybody, and I try to give them my feedback on things. I think it's going to work out and be really nice.
I think it's exciting. I was able to talk to some of my fellow people who are right around me and try to play off a little bit of their colors. And once I heard what their theme was, This also really encouraged me to do something extremely simple, so there would be a place for the eye to rest.
Annie Barnhart is a calligrapher and painter. She talks about her process and some of the obstacles she faced tackling this unique project.
And then it was the hard part because my drawing, I realized, needed to be enlarged about 600%, in fact 606%. And that was a challenge for me until I decided let's go with technology. So I called a graphics company and they enlarged it for me. So I've been actually working off my big enlarged piece to create it. So that's really where I was. And then designing an alphabet that was compressed yet readable from a long distance. That was fun for me, a good challenge. I believe it's going to be probably watercolor pencils and acrylics and a lot of sweat.
I've never done a collaboration at all project, so this is a really totally different with me, which I like it because it's a challenge.
Donna Schaefer knew she wanted to bring the outdoors indoors and enjoyed experimenting and being challenged.
Well, the colors basically came sort of natural to me because I love the hiking in the outdoors, but mostly different shades of green, as if you're walking through the woods or the forest, and that's basically how I came up with the idea. And then I figured, I'm going to try something different. I've never done the sculpture work in this before. I thought, well, what do I have to lose? If I don't like it, I'll just take it off. And I'm enjoying doing something a little different. So, and each one of us has a different idea as to what you want to convey to people. Mine was basically peace, healing, harmony. That's basically where I came from. The feeling of nature and quiet and calmness.
Fused glass artist Becky Marks took a scientific approach to represent the theme of healing, wellness, and innovation.
My piece will be lots of circles cut out of glass, and they will be gathered and put together as molecules so that I will have a molecule for each subject: healing, wellness, and innovation. Images on the glass will be pretty straightforward as to what it is representing. I think that I have learned a lot in doing this, and I think before it's all over I will have learned even more. An exciting part of it will be to see it all put together as one giant mural. It's very exciting and I'm really looking forward to that part of it.
With the deadlines looming, the group was hard at work on their panels and a little more than anxious to see what the final product would look like.
This one had an actual goal to meet and a deadline that was much shorter than normal with some things. My projects, my normal art, I just come up with an idea and I work on it as I have time for otherwise. But this kind of project with a deadline, I mean, you feel a little bit more pressure on it. You've given an idea of exactly what you had to come up with, and that kind of pigeonholes it into a certain technique and subject that you have to come up with to convey what they're trying to do for the piece.
I'm a pencil artist. I like to use just a piece of paper and a pencil. That's where I'm most comfortable. That's my forte. This is a little bit out of the box for me, so to speak. I'm not that comfortable with it, but I am enjoying every second of it.
As the project pushed on, it seemed that everyone was branching out of their normal area of expertise. Some did it by revisiting their roots.
All right, this differs from other projects that I do. There's painting in it, and I don't normally paint. I love painting, but I don't get to do it very much. And normally I'm making functional work, mugs, plates, things people can use in their everyday lives.
As a photographer, I started to try to think of what my options might be for the theme of the mural. And then I started to think about something I haven't done in a while, which is paint. And I thought, I think this might be a good opportunity to go back to my roots a little bit and do some painting. And what I basically came up with is what I call kind of an artistic rendering of some scientific principles.
This project is very different from what I normally do because I typically work very small format, maybe 6" by 8". And like I said before, it's stitched and hand painted. This is an enormous piece. Considering what I normally do, it's about 66 inches by 33 inches. And I'm doing more of a traditional quilted piecing technique. But this size alone makes it very different from what I normally do. But I'm up for the challenge.
This project is different from what I've done in the past several years in that it's actually smaller. The Danville mural was almost 2,000 square feet, so this mural actually is kind of a walk in the park as far as size goes. And we had a limited amount of time as far as developing our design, and so that was similar to the other projects that I've done the past couple of years with murals, because there's always a waiting process for approval.
Some artists incorporated ideas and beliefs from their own lifestyles into their mural piece.
I'm very proactive in my own life about health and fitness. I know as an artist, if I don't keep my health and fitness up, I don't create artwork. What I do is very physical. So yeah, it is definitely a reflection on how I feel.
I believe in the circle of life, and so as soon as I got the theme of healing and wellness, I knew I wanted to incorporate the circle. So after doing the research and finding the mandala and the medicine wheel, I knew I wanted to use that in my piece.
In my piece, the people walking with their pets represent the important roles of exercise and companionship in our daily lives, reminding us to walk, play, rest, and live in the moment.
My belief is, your afterlife is what you leave behind for everyone to remember you by. So to have a piece there permanently at Geisinger is certainly a good legacy to have. And
therapy, dogs, and sun.
For Sandy Trainer, every day is filled with a desire to get better. In the 12 years since her stroke, she has relied on living and eating healthy, as well as the unconditional love of her therapy dog, Yuri. Through it all, pottery has been a constant in her quest to get back to life. She now teaches at Black Bear Pottery Studio in Benton and credits it with keeping her focused and engaged in speaking. In Sandy's panel, she tries to capture these aspects of her life that moved her forward and perhaps will keep her from losing everything again. She hopes that patients and families will feel the positive results.
Happy, yes, yes.
A few last-minute details needed to be smoothed out before they could see the finished masterpiece. And then, before they knew it,
in the end, I think it worked extremely smooth, and kudos to the artists, and specifically also kudos to Geisinger's facility, because I know that was no easy piece to hang.
I think the patients will find it very interesting. They'll go out of their way to find out more about that imagery and what the artists were thinking when they made it.
Collaborative efforts, I've said before, are always a great catalyst for any art. It was kind of sketchy and loose at the beginning, and nobody really knew how we were going to do it, and we just started throwing out little ideas, and every once in a while one would stick and we'd go with it, and it came out pretty nicely, I think.
I'm very happy with how everything is just gelling together, and then I thank also Geisinger for this opportunity to be able to be part of this mural.
And it's just tremendous. I mean, it really pops into space. The colors are vibrant, it's beautiful, and they really do, for being 19 individual artists, somehow this piece managed to pull off some sort of uniformity, and it looks like it belongs together. And again, I think that's just a testament to the artists and their talent. So couldn't be more pleased.
The artists were excited to be a part of the Geisinger Centennial Celebration and to create something that would be long-lasting, hopefully brightening the days of patients and their families for years to come.
I'd like to think that they look at the piece and feel better about being at Geisinger, really.
It is more for making people who come by here to have hope, feel good, you know, that's what I wanted to convey.
I think there's enough subject matter variation there that there's going to be something in that mural that appeals to everyone because it's not all the same. So it's a great way to give back and participate in a very successful and well-established healthcare organization.
I hope it makes them smile. You know, I mean, I think people are probably at the hospital a lot of times for adversity in their life, and I hope that when they see it in the bright colors, it just makes them smile.
So I think there's a potential if Geisinger wants to partner on future projects, then certainly we have a group of artists who can accomplish that.
And so now we would hope that they would approach us again and thank them for their work, of course. It's absolutely gorgeous and exactly what we wanted to portray on our 100-year celebration, to see the kind of artists that we had and look into their imagination of what innovation, health, and wellness meant to them was exciting.
Healing, wellness, and innovation. Bringing these words to life while celebrating Abigail Geisinger's dream to make her hospital the best.